Hey, my name is Ephrat Asherie, and I was born in Netanya, Israel, but when I was 10 months, I moved to Italy, and then I moved to New York when I was 8 years old. My dance background is a little bit varied because I grew up taking ballet and modern dance class, but it was the 90s, so I was a really avid hip-hop fan. So I was doing that socially, but it wasn't until I was in college that I started breaking, and I really got into training in that style. And my friend took me to an open community practice in Bushwick, where I met Breakeasy, who was my mentor, and he just kind of opened my dance world completely to breaking. And then later I went to the house club, and my whole dance life totally changed in a great way. When I first started breaking, I mean, at first it was just kind of a visceral attraction to the dance. I love the physicality of it. There was just sort of this like wildness and rawness and a way that you had to let yourself go in order to do the dance. So you couldn't be careful and you couldn't be precious. It was like, no, show and prove. Like, you're either gonna go for it or you're not gonna do it. And actually, looking back, I realized that hip hop in terms of the dance and culturally what I started to learn about it and the history of it was sort of the lens through which I started to view other parts of my life, just to have a certain level of consciousness about being in the world. So it was hip hop and breaking that gave me that. The next project I'm working on is called Riff This, Riff That, and it is inspired by a film called The Spirit Moves, which is actually a documentary directed and produced by a woman, Moura Den, where she chronicles African-American social dance from the turn of the century through the 1980s. And the footage in that documentary that's the most compelling for me is the footage from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, which looks at Charleston, Lindy, blues, bebop. And when I see those dances, I see sort of the root of all the dances that I do today. I'm really excited to work with my collaborators on this project because everyone is super diverse in how many different aesthetics they are versed in. So we all kind of come to the table with a deep knowledge of house dance because that's where we all met. And ironically enough, all of us at some point in time got into swing dancing, also known as Lindy. So we come to the table with that, and then in the mix is Vogue, West African dance, funk styles such as popping and locking, breaking. So everyone is sort of like this wonderful amalgam of different styles. It's really exciting. This is the first time I'm collaborating with my brother, Ephrat Asherie, and he's a jazz pianist. Over the years, I've always wanted to work with him, but finally this kind of stars aligned. My parents are really excited. I'm gonna be working with a jazz quartet, so a pianist, my brother, a trumpet player, a bass player, and a drummer. And I am really fortunate to be working with 5 super wonderful artists who we all met in the club, but everyone does various styles. I will be performing this piece as part of the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council's River to River Festival on June 20th and 21st. You should come to all the shows.